So, Connect-a-thon, recap, review, whatever we want to call it. Connect-a-thon is once again a 3-day holiday that we invented in order to connect, reconnect, and celebrate all of the amazing people that we have met over the last year. And today we are going to do a little review of what that experience was like. So we're going to do highlights, lowlights, and thoughts for next year. Lauren, let's start highlights. What's your highlight?
I don't know. I should have thought of that. I mean, like I do. Part of me is like just the fact that I feel like mostly successfully did it, and not in that like we reached the KPIs
Yeah.
or whatever. We don't have that. But like we wanted to connect with people, and we wanted to do it in a fun way, and we deeply maintained that throughout. Did we did a lot. We did a lot of fun, but we like again, we did what we intended to do, which was playfully outreach to people.
Yeah.
Period. And like we did that. And like for me specifically, I think um we talk about how multitasking isn't real. And having that intentional focus time and being able to be like not get distracted by other stuff. We're like, oh, I got this other thing. You're like, no, Connect-a-thon. We're doing
Yeah.
Connect-a-thon. I can respond to them tomorrow. It's
Hmm.
okay. Like, I don't have to do that in this moment, even though we're excited to do a thing. It's like, no, I'm focusing on Connect-a-thon.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think absolutely a highlight for me is that this was just sort of like a goofy, whimsical idea that we had in December.
It didn't
And
take a lot of planning, or
no,
we didn't have a
well,
lot of planning.
we didn't have a lot of time to plan. But I like it when we lean into the playful part of working together and it would and sort of go with the like wouldn't it be funny if we did this or like oh this would be a good time. It sort of reminds me of the flowers for conferences where it's like we playfully decided to do that because we were worried about losing each other and then it turned into something way bigger. And
hmm
I feel like Connect-a-thon has a similar energy where we just were like oh this would be so fun, let's treat it like a spirit week,
Like,
and
what
then
if we did this thing and then we just do it because we think it's fun and
yeah.
purposeful intent?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. And so it's nice to like lean into the playfulness. It's nice to have an idea to make that idea reality. I think sometimes it's really hard being a business that is essentially only two people. But in moments like this, where we're able to go from like, here's a thought to bring it to fruition very quickly, that you really see the benefit of being a small organization. Cause like we didn't have to get anyone else on board. We were just like, we're doing it.
or
Uh,
approval, or like,
or like funds like no. So yeah, I mean I think I was that's a highlight is that like it happened at all is
true.
really
We did
great.
it.
We did it. Another highlight for me was just the perpetual reminder of how many amazing people we have met through this work.
Yeah.
um got a chance to connect genuinely with so many people that I have in my head been like, oh, they're great, but haven't really had a chance to tell them directly. And this
Yeah,
was a beautiful excuse to be like, hey, you're awesome. That's it. That's the
for
whole message.
sure. For
And
sure.
I really like that. That feels very good, especially right now where it feels like things are rough. And it just felt nice and warm to be connecting with people genuinely.
For sure. I actually feel like that highlight of yours, in a weird way, leads to like a pretend low light of mine. Um, like not really, but like in that we got to connect with so many people, and like there's so many people, right? It's like you're never done. Your to-do list never done. There's so much to do. In the same way, like a pretend baby, not a low light, but it kind of felt like it where you're like, oh no. Like Connect-a-thon was focused and like we had a finite amount of time, but also had so many meetings for doing this. Afterwards, I would like see people like in LinkedIn, or like someone would I
Yeah.
or see someone on LinkedIn, or like someone would like one of the posts. I was like, oh my God, that person. Why didn't I reach out to them? Like, not in a feeling bad, but like, there's just so many people and we couldn't get to them all. And like, not that there was like a priority list. It was kind of just like who was around or here. And like, you're slightly more in the periphery, but I just didn't make it that far yet. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean we have to stop. Like, you can still connect
Right.
with people. But I was just like, oh no, I missed them.
Same deal. I feel like one of the things that came of that was this feeling of like, oh, I want to do this more often, but it felt like we really like intentionally set aside time for that. And
Mhm.
so now I'm trying to like maintain that energy a little bit, but it's tough because the reason we created Connect-a-thon is that the like constant churn of running a business means that we never have time to do stuff like this. And
Yeah.
I feel like we are very much back in the churn. And so there is a part of me that is you know, like how do we keep this energy going, but also like that's not realistic really. And that's
Yeah.
one of the lowlights is this feeling of like, oh, I wish I had time to be this intentional and active around outreach all the time, and like we just don't. We looked at our calendar mere minutes ago and it was like, so how is the end of March for you on some other things we're working on? So it's just like, yeah, we have to be sadly like realistic about our time. And so, yeah, definite low light is that it can't be Connect-a-thon every week.
It's true. And again, it's like the like the low light highlight, whatever, is like
Great
we know
problem.
too many cool people and I
Yeah.
didn't get to them all and I'm sad. And just if I didn't reach out to you, it doesn't mean I don't care. It means I'm coming for you in a non-scary way.
To be clear, Lauren is not threatening you.
No,
Uh,
just with
yeah.
love and caring and connection.
Yeah, I think one of the other like genuine lowlights for me is that it was a lot.
Yeah.
Like in typical Betterment Works fashion, we like couldn't be chill about it. And obviously, I think like overdid it a little bit on the like Spirit Week elements. And
Yes.
so, like, in addition to the extremely like diligent and concentrated work sessions that we were doing for the whole day,
Mhm.
um, we also had like Oscar worthy costume changes in between in the like few breaks that we had. And so, you know, like low light sort of leading into thoughts for next year
Mhm.
is like maybe either do a little less or have a little bit more time between the sessions,
Yeah.
because I was doing like a full beat for like one specific thing, and then
Mhm.
it'd be like, okay, this is my break, and it's like not a break because I am washing my face and doing like a
Yeah.
different set of themed makeup.
Yes. I
So like,
behind the scenes Easter egg, if you've noticed in our videos, Maddie's always wearing sunglasses. It's because she's hiding her makeup for our first outfits.
let's try to be prepared but also not give it away. And
It's
you know,
fair. I respect it.
it takes a lot of time to like apply you know, like a good makeup base that is prepared to receive face crystals, which I also used a lot of last week. So, yeah, I think thoughts for next year was like either more space between them or slightly fewer costumes. Maybe we do, instead of the three sessions that we did, maybe we do two, but one of them is a little bit longer, but there's a bigger break in between or something along those
Yeah.
lines. Um, and I also think that we really divided up the intention behind like, now we are outreaching to this person or this type of person or this group of people. And that also became complicated because there's just like a ton of overlap in
Mhm.
these things. And
Or
so,
people who were like, "Oh, this doesn't really fit into any of these," but
yeah,
like,
yes. So then the other thought is sort of like maybe we be a little bit either like more specific or go in the other direction and not have so much specificity and
yeah,
just to be like whoever comes to mind.
yeah,
I do think the specificity was helpful in preparing because sometimes it's sort of like that blank page thing where like sometimes when there's no constraints, you're like
it's
paralyzed by
too. You're like,
the,
I don't. There's
yeah,
too many options.
exactly. Yeah, those are my big thoughts for next year. What about you? Big
Um,
thoughts for next year? Little
I
thoughts
think
for
like a realization slash adjustment for the future because it was fun enough that I think it's a good idea for us to do again in some form. It doesn't
yes.
like we try. I'm proud of us for trying a thing. We wanted to keep it fun. We did that. Did we overdo it? Maybe a little bit, but it was super. Like it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot. Period.
It was a lot. period.
It was a lot of fun and a lot.
Yes.
But it was a good test run. And I think that similar and we could do it, but is it like what level of more or less? Like, do we have less meetings, but it's over a week instead of 3 days? Is
Yeah.
it, we did try to do a good job of like, with like burnout vibes in work. This was like Spirit Week burnout vibes. Like, we did a lot of meetings and we did plan time and space, but like it wasn't quite enough time. And like we're learning what that looks like. So
Yeah.
either doing like a little bit more in some ways or a little bit less in other ways. I did also really like the inspiration moment that we had because we did have a I don't remember which theme meeting it was, but it was where I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to LinkedIn and like see who sparks like comes up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that person. And it like
Yeah.
gave me the opportunity to do that. And I was like, oh, because you don't always, there's too many people to think of, and they don't always come to mind when you're trying to think, and you need to give your brain space to like let it
Yeah.
come to you.
Yes.
And even like just like we're gonna like scroll our like just scroll in our phone contacts and like see whose name catches our eye or like what like universe telling us who to connect with time. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
like a little bit more or a little bit less in different ways, I think is doable. And a realization, we did a appreciation hour with friends. We invited some people who we appreciate, and then we all separately took time to appreciate other people during that call. And they both also were like, "Oh my gosh, this was so like felt good for us," and other people were like, "That was so nice," and like they were getting good feelings back. And in that idea of like it can't be Connect-a-thon always, like they were like, oh, I got to make time to do this more often than like once a year or never. And like we can also do like it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can't be Connect-a-thon all the time, but if it is like okay, very specific version of an outreach in a certain way, like weekly, or if it's like okay, once a month we're doing like 25% Connect-a-thon. Like I don't know what that is, but like
Connect.
just connect. But like having an intentional space just for that and being a little bit intentional. It doesn't have to be overly intentional, but like a little bit intentional with that, with and respecting that time, I think is a good thing that we learned from that and is great and is doable.
Yeah, absolutely. I also will say that the appreciation hour, um, first off, like such a highlight, right? Like seeing our friends who we appreciate and then sort of all extending gratitude at the same time. It felt like a really like nice energy to be bringing to the world. And yeah, both of those people were like, yeah, I'm building this practice into my like weekly thing. This was great. And I received that when I did the whole like I'm sharing appreciation because of this. Like more than one person was like, oh, so I'm going to do this. This is nice. And so that was such a highlight. And I think it's, we are always, I think, preaching about gratitude practices at work and how important they are and how it's actually not very hard to do those things. But we just sort of forget. And that's one of my big takeaways, not just for next year, but just, a monthly gratitude practice of not just I think a lot of people have personal gratitude practices where they wake up in the morning and they journal
Yeah.
towards gratitude, and that's great, you should do that. But I also think that extending kindness outwards is it's like a joyful medicine and we should all be taking it.
Yeah. It's like, it's good to have good thoughts for yourself, but also for others, but then also like share it with them.
Yes.
Just be like, oh
Yeah,
my God, they did so good on that presentation. Like tell them.
truly. And you really don't know with those things how they're going to find that person. And so it's really nice. Some of the feedback I received from that was people being like, I really needed that today. Thank you. And that's lovely because I didn't know that, but so happy I could meet that need. And like,
Yeah.
it's absolutely true, So yeah, I would say Connect-a-thon overall was a big success. I had a ton of fun. There was more cleanup than I anticipated because of the amount of like there's just like a lot of activities and playfulness, and that's delightful.
Which is good. We really packed it into a small amount of time.
We really did, and like, way to go, us. And also, I was like, oh wow, there's like a lot of craft supplies, and like I'm still like
Yeah.
pipe cleaners in
Yeah,
places.
you had a lot of bejeweled things and pipe cleaners and makeup.
I mean, I'm an artist. What can I say? I I can do more with like $20 of fake flowers and pipe cleaners and a little bit of glitter than most, maybe everyone. I feel
That's,
very proud of my pipe cleaner game. I think I'm pretty good. Uh,
if you need to check it out and you haven't seen them all, go look at all of our outfits. Um,
yep.
and thermometers. Maybe we'll post some behind the scenes pictures of the chaos later
Yes.
sometime.
Here's what it takes to make Connect-a-thon happen. Hmm.
Anyway, yeah, it was a journey. If you've watched or liked any of the posts, like thanks for joining us. And you also can connect with people. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. More connection. That's the message. Connection is good. We should be doing more of it.